Hello? Hello, 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 hello. Alright, looks like my audio's fine. I might turn the music down just a tiny bit so that it's a little bit more in the background. 23% seems fine. It's about what it is when I'm making videos. Alright. So today, I'm gonna be doing some AI shit. Oh yeah. I'm gonna turn up the music and then turn it down for me. Or should I keep it low and just turn down my computer? Hey, that works better actually. Alright, well, let's do a text adventure to start with. Let's see. Let's start with I am Binga. And let's see what. Alright, I'm just gonna start with that, see what it goes with. I am Binga. You are Binga. You are in the village. To the north is the well, the meeting place of the village, surrounded by the huts of its people. The women have gathered around the well. In the center of the group, the headman stands, his face red, his hands shaking.
What's up with you, headman?
Y'all are gonna see how slow I am at typing.
Nothing, he says. I am well, thank you for asking.
He is upset.
Says the wife of the chief hunter.
Very upset because his daughter did not get the marriage proposal yesterday. So what? He was sure,
The wife of the chief continues,
that a young man would want to marry her yesterday. After all, she has such nice skin and her hips are so wide.
okay. I feel almost like I shouldn't be doing this one. Did it draw some things from my name because I just chose to name myself something odd? Let's do a different one. Let's roll back on that. Delete it. New story. Text adventure. I am Chulopo. Man of the Midwest. There we go. Man of the Midwest. It's got a whole 15 states to choose from. You are in a small bedroom, a part of your house you rarely use, except for storage. There are 2 beds against one wall, with a chest between them. At the other end is a wooden desk, and on it, an unlit oil lamp. I look in my presumably unused chest because I mean, why? Oh, it's a small bedroom, not my small bedroom. Oh well. Let's see if any of my guests left anything. Opened. The trunk is full of your old toys, mostly hand-carved wooden animals. I pull out my favorite one and tear up Alright. You hold the wooden carving of a horse and are briefly reminded of your childhood. It was a simpler time. Alright, let's see where it goes with this. Remove from inventory a wooden horse. Okay, why is it doing that? I don't want it to do that. You can't bring yourself to keep it. Dropped. I looked at my wooden horse and dropped it on the ground. Thrown, picked up. Okay, thanks, Kara. I stick the wooden horse in my satchel and I mutter its name. Add it to your inventory of wooden horse. So, what was my horse's name again? Samson. But it was a mare. You think it's one of those you think it's the one with the white star on its forehead, but they're all starting to look the same. I sit on the old bed and cry into my hands for a moment before I start reminiscing about the old days. You sit on the bed, one of the beds, and remember how you used to love your toys and play with them every day. They were your only companions, and you made up all kinds of adventures. Let's keep it going, see what it does with it. Now you're here, all alone. You wonder why you can't be a child again and play. But then, you don't want to be a child either. It's time you grow up and take some responsibility. You have to do what your mother says and leave the house. Finally, we have a story point. We're getting kicked out. I also, since it used an oil lamp, I'm going to assume it's the olden days. So I gather my things and put it into a large suitcase. You start throwing clothes and toiletries into a suitcase, and then go to the kitchen to get some food. There isn't much left, but you pack what there is. Some bread, a wedge of cheese, a few carrots, and some jerky. You take one last look around the house and close the door behind you. I go to Samson and prepare his saddle. You head out the back door and go to the stable, where your horse, Samson, is waiting. Samson is a white stallion, a bit on the old side, but he's got a lot of energy. AI. You saddle him and mount him. That was a lot of work for just those 6 words. So is this like the Wild West or something? Yeah, I'm struggling on this one. Testing. Why is it? Oh. Was it doing a buzz? Sorry about that. Alright, the cable must have been touchy. I need to get some new equipment soon. Alright, let's try again. So we saddled our horse and mounted it. With a nudge of your heels, Samson breaks into a trot and you head west. You don't know exactly where you're going, but you do know you have to get out of here and start a new life somewhere. I head west. Go west. Alright. We had this song earlier. Let's just hit a random song. Here we go. It's hot, sunny day, and the road stretches out before you, winding through fields and forests, towns and villages. You pass a sign that reads, Bowland, 20 miles. What's in Bowland? I don't know. Who are you? Where did you come from? You shout, who are you? Where did you come from? The voice is silent. Open my eyes and look for the source of the voice. It is silent. You must be losing your mind. Maybe you've been spending too much time alone. I fire my musket in the air and watch for movements. Yeehaw. You raise your musket over your shoulder and fire. Flock of birds take flight, startled by the shot. No other creatures are in sight. You wonder if it was just a squirrel or a small animal. Hold on. Hello? You ask hello. Yes?
Yes?
The voice is soft and feminine and comes from directly behind you. Startled, you spin around, nearly losing your balance and falling off your horse. A young woman, maybe in her early 20s, stands beside the road. Who are you?
I'm sorry,
She says, holding her hands up.
I didn't mean to startle you.
Her clothing is simple, but clean and well maintained. She looks at you with concern. What's your name, miss?
I'm called Aelin,
she says. Chalupa. I forgot that was the name I gave him. What are you doing out here all alone?
I'm headed east,
she says, pointing in the direction you came from. Why didn't I see you when I came this way? She smiles and shrugs.
You didn't look very hard.
You realize she's right. I frown and look down. She looks at you curiously.
What brings you out here?
I'm looking for home.
I hope you find it,
she says. Her kindness reminds you that not everyone in this world is cruel and selfish. My mom kicked me out. She looks at you with compassion.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, you say.
Maybe it's not, but I'm still sorry it happened to you.
What will you do now? I'm not sure, you admit. Okay, it lost what we were going with, I guess. I lost track of who was talking. Alright. Maybe you should consider your options. It's not like you have experience in the world beyond your village, is it? Okay. Where are you headed in particular?
I'm looking for a place to settle down, she says. Somewhere away from people.
You think about it.
It's lonely sometimes,
she adds. Alright. It's always lonely. We're being a Midwest, old-time, Wild West incel, I guess. We're just someone that's really fucking depressed. The AI does not know what to do with this. Doesn't know how to handle a really clinically depressed cowboy. Doesn't seem to want to do something. I'm gonna change to Asper for the for the generator.
Not if you have someone to share it with, she says. Besides, it wouldn't be so bad to be alone together, would it?
I mean, I'm not looking for a relationship, miss. Get out of here. Alright. Say good luck with that.
Thanks.
She says, you never know what life will bring. Good luck to you too. Or, well, I say, you never know what life will bring.
Good luck to you too.
Okay. Continue walking. As you continue west, you wonder what it would have been like to have someone to share the road with. It's not like there are any decent looking chicks on the road. Just a plain girl who's hardly beautiful or anything. God, what the fuck is this? Alright. I run into a goblin. As you walk, you see a goblin crouching down, examining some strange tracks in the dirt. It doesn't notice you. Hello, little friend. Hold on, I gotta have a comma. Hello, little friend. You shout, hello, little friend. The goblin startles. It quickly hides itself. I've got some beef jerky if you want some. Hearing the words beef jerky, the goblin slowly peeks its head from the bushes. It seems curious and cautious. I pull out a little piece of the jerky from my satchel. You take out a small piece of beef jerky from your satchel and hold it out to the goblin. The goblin creeps closer and takes a bite out of the jerky. It tastes good, and the goblin suddenly grows bolder. Pet the goblin on the head. You reach out and pat the goblin on the head. It flinches and relaxes to your touch. Aw, aren't you a sweet little guy, you coo? The goblin chatters and grins up at you. I will name you Timples. So it's Chilopo and Timples now. Timpkins, you correct yourself. The AI did not like Timples. The goblin seems happy with this. You rub the goblin's stomach. Ew. And the little creature sighs contentedly. I continue west with new friend Timpkins. Oops. Wrong thing. I meant to do a do, not say. Oops. Looks like the AI is gonna wig out. AI is gonna wig out. Alright. You continue west with new friend Timpkins. As you continue west, you are now accompanied by your new goblin friend Timpkins. While at first the goblin was wary of your presence, the two of you have quickly become friends and now are travel companions. I teach Timpkins English. You spend many evenings over the next week teaching Timpkins how to speak your language. It is difficult, and his language is completely alien, and lacks many of the sounds of yours, but with perseverance you are able to teach him a few basics. How are you doing, Timpkins? Timpkins chatters something intelligible. Unintelligible. Let's see where it goes from there. Despite your best efforts, you're not sure he's really picked up much English at all. Still, he's great company and he makes you laugh. Hold on. Play fetch with Timpkins. As evening approaches, you pass a grove of trees and stop to water your horse. I just completely ignored that. Timpkins takes the opportunity to wander off, exploring the undergrowth for hidden treasures. You take the opportunity to relieve yourself, and afterward find him sniffing suspiciously at an old pile of bones. So I go and take a shit and then look for Timpkins. I examine the bones and realize that they are that of a Yeti. You move closer to examine the bones. A dreadful roar rips through the woods. A huge hulking creature with thick fur and terrible fangs emerges from the darkness. You've never seen a Yeti before, but you're fairly certain this is one. I arm Timpkins and is it caber? Toss? What's caber toss him at the Yeti? I keep capitalizing Yeti. You arm your goblin companion with a mace and stand him ready for battle. Unfortunately, he readies himself to charge. The treacherous ground breaks underneath him, and he plummets into the depths. I look up to the Yeti and ask, "Hey, friend, got any rope?" He scratches his shaggy head and stares at you in confusion. He asks you if you need some. "Yes, please." He nods and fetches some from his saddlebag. It's pretty thick rope, but hopefully it'll be enough. "Hey, friend, can you hold the other and while I... what's the word? Lower myself into the hole to look for Timpkins. The Yeti nods and grabs the other end of the rope. You carefully lower yourself in the hole. The light quickly diminishes to pitch blackness, and you have no idea how far the bottom is. After several feet of slowly descending, you lose your grip on the rope and fall. It's dark, but you manage to land on your feet. Timpkins? Where are you? Little buddy? You ask. Timpkins, where are you, little buddy? You hear something scampering in the darkness. As your eyes adjust, you make out the small form coming towards you. It's Timpkins. He's alive. Get on my shoulders. We need to climb that rope. He hops onto your shoulder and you grab the rope. With his help, you'll be able to pull yourself out of the hole and back to the surface. Alright, what happens? You're relieved to find your horse unharmed and the rope barely touched. The Yeti nods at you and then continues on his way. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. The Yeti waves goodbye and disappears into the night. What a fantastic little story this has been. Let's see. Let's keep going. Or wait, no, let's set up camp. Or let's tell Timpkins set up camp. You say, Timpkins set up camp for the night. Timpkins sets up about gathering firewood. Soon a roaring blaze is crackling at the center of camp, and Timpkins settles down to eat some jerky. You tell him he's a good goblin and rest your back against the log. A shadow walks through our fire. It's late, and the stars twinkle merrily in the sky above. In the distance, you make out a dim glow of other campfires. You feel safe and warm in the gentle heat of your own campfire, but you know that danger leaks in the dark, or lurks in the dark. I hear a whisper from the shadow. And the voice seems to come from the shadows, but it's not threatening.
I must warn you,
It says,
there's danger ahead.
I whip my head around and see a skinwalker talking to me. try to see the figure that's speaking, but the shadows are too deep. What danger? You ask, confused. The shadow points to the campfires in the distance. That, it says. Let's keep it going.
Those fires are not for warming feet and roasting meat. They're for cooking goblins, and they feed on human flesh.
But those campsites could be anyone, you protest. They eat goblins and humans? Oh no. They could be traders or hunters or nomads like us.
No,
the shadow says.
I have seen it before. Those are goblins.
Oh, they're the cooking pits of goblins. You shudder and the shadow's warning sinks in. But Timpkins would vouch for me, right, little buddy? I look at Timp. I look down at Timpkins. The goblin looks up at you quizzically.
Who's Timpkins?
It asks.
I ain't no Timpkins.
It growls. Then it spits at your feet and scurries off into the woods. What? Shocked as you watch the goblin disappear into the night.
That was no goblin,
The shadow says.
it was a changeling, and it means to trick you to give up your flesh to the clan.
Okay. Alright. Your mind races as you try to process this. A changeling, an imposter, one that looks like Timpkins? But no, this makes no sense. Where are you, Timpkins? You call out for your goblin friend, but there is no reply. A cold knot forms in your gut as the implications of that shadow sink in. Shadow. Could you please guide me to safety?
I cannot help you further.
The shadow says.
You must find your own way in this land. Good luck.
It adds. With that, the figure melts away into the darkness and you are alone. I piss my pants and cry while clutching my wooden horsey. And sitting with my back against Samson. You piss your pants and cry while clutching your wooden horsey and sitting with your back against Samson. What have I done? You sob as the tears roll down your cheeks. What have I lost? Okay, what else goes it want? You know the goblins will not stop until you are dead, and you fear the changeling might already be plotting to betray you. Sobbing, you cling to the only things left in your world. Your horse, and the tiny wooden carving of a horse that is the last remnant of a better time. I shit my pants. As the night wears on, the sobs subdue, and you find yourself staring numbly into the dying embers of the fire. A chill wind blows through the camp, making you shudder and realize how tired you are. I hop on Samson's back and ride. I'm leaving. Those goblins are on foot. They ain't catching up with me. Yeah, it does not like this statement. As you get on Samson, you feel the weight of your circumstances settle on your shoulders. You realize that the worst is yet to come. You ride off into the darkness alone. You've got my back, right, Samson? He snorts and turns his head to look back at you. You smile a little, comforted by the thought that you are not entirely alone. You may be on the run, with no plan or direction, but at least you have your horse. Restricted area. Warning, this room is in beta testing phase. I touch a nearby lamp, wondering how the hell I got here. To your horror, the oil is drained and you're out of matches. You touch the nearby lamp, wondering how the hell you got here. Laboratory halls. It is pitch black. Samson? Nobody responds. To your surprise, you find that you're in a low-ceilinged room with multiple hallways leading off in various different directions. It's almost as dark as here as it was underground, but at least you can make out the doors, flooring, and ceiling. Look at the gizmos and gadgets in the room. You have no time to examine objects in this room, as several soldiers rush through the nearest door and surround you. Oh. I said look at the gizmos and gadgets in this room. Who are all you people? Oop. They don't respond, but one steps forward and points down the hallway. You see a tall, broad-shouldered figure looming in the shadows. Warning, restricted area. This area is closed for beta testing. I hug the big figure in the hall, or in the shadows. The stranger makes no move to hug you back. Instead, he glares at you, as if trying to decide whether to crush your skull with a single blow, or take his time breaking every bone in your body.
Daddy.
He continues to stare at you. I'm not your daddy, he finally says. The voice that issues this from this thick-lipped mouth is rough and husky, as if he's gargling gravel. No, he said, "You're not my daddy."
What?
I'm not your daddy,
he repeats.
But Dada.
His face twists into a sneer.
Why are you calling me that? I told you, I'm not your daddy.
But you look like my Dada.
Not your dada.
You can understand why he wouldn't want to acknowledge the truth right away. Who knows what will he do yet? What he will do next.
Now get out of my sight before I change my mind about letting you leave here alive.
Okay, I'm going to... I pull out a mirror and say,
Look, Dada, it's you.
The huge stranger simply looks confused. You can't tell if he's going to laugh or kill you. Or maybe both.
Not your dada.
He croaks again, before lapsing into an irritated silence. I pull out my wooden horsey and hold it up to him.
You carved this for me. Remember? Daddy?
He picks up the tiny wooden horsey, holding it delicately between his thumb and finger. For a moment, his eyes soften, but then he frowns, and his eyes cloud over with anger.
Remember? Daddy?
You ask, remember, Daddy?
How do you know about this?
He rumbles. His hand tightens on the little carving, splintering it into pieces. I shriek with horror at the sight of my favorite toy being broken and burst into tears. He stares at the broken pieces for a moment and his shoulders slump. Oh no, what do you do in situations like these? We de-aged rapidly and now we're just a little kid, I guess. Come on, AI, what does he do next? You tell me. You think he might be crying, but it's hard to tell from your position in the rubble.
Why'd you do that, Daddy?
I'm sorry, he murmurs. I'm sorry. What even do I type next? I didn't mean to. He reaches out and he strokes your cheek. I'm sorry, he mutters. You look up surprised at his gentleness.
But why did you break it?
You sniffle. Because... He trails off, unable to continue. Then he says, because it reminded me of your mom.
But she's dead.
You remind him. I quietly think back, wondering why I left the house since my mom kicked me out, but also I was the only one living in the house. It confuses me, and I shit my pants. You still feel puzzled, but run your pants to make sure you're not shitting yourself again. Ew. You hate the texture of crusty pants. That's disgusting. Oh. That's revolting. Alright. Hug Dad. You hug Dad. He pulls you to your feet and you wrap your arms around him. He smells of oil and machines parts, and his beard is soft, but you feel safe as he cradles you. It's the first time you woke up from the accident. You feel like maybe everything is going. For the first time since you woke up from the accident. Okay, so maybe we were in a coma. That's why we were in the Wild West and we saw a goblin. You feel like everything is going to be okay. But then the alarms begin to blare. An urgent voice comes over the loudspeakers, and the intercom squawks to life. Intruder alert! Intruder alert! Viruses have been detected, initiating a self-destruct sequence. The lights begin to flicker. A deep rumbling noise begins to fill the room. Daddy's eyes widen in panic. Come on, he yells, grabbing your hand. We have to get out of here. The rumble grows louder, and the ground beneath you begins to shake. You glance behind you as you're dragged to your feet, and you see the ceiling beginning to cave in. The metal shrieks and pops as it's being twisted and torn apart. Then the world explodes in a flash of blinding light and deafening noise. The last thing you hear is a tremendous boom. Blackness. You are nowhere. Something hits you. You jerk awake, gasping for breath. Your ears ring and your head aches. There's something sticky running down the side of your face. You try to sit up, but you're being pinned down. You look around and try to get your bearings. You're lying under some rubble. Waves of heat wash over you, and everything around you is blurred by swirling flames. I have to say, the AI now, way more advanced than it was like a year ago. In just about a year, this is telling very cohesive stories. And I'm of course throwing it a lot of curveballs because that's fun. But it's telling actually decent stories. Let's see where it takes us next. There was a timeout. You see a figure next to you, struggling to get free. Is it your father? You can't tell. The image flickers and then vanishes. White. There is nothing. You float in a sea of white surrounded by blackness. Your body is not your own. I see Dumbledore sitting on a bench. Who am I? He asks. Who am I? Do you really want to know? You shrug. I guess so. I might as well know. I guess so. I might as well know. Then I will show you, he says, and the world shifts. Keira is thinking, what will happen next? I don't know, you tell me. Vision. You sit in the dirt alone. You're outside the walls of a tiny village. You watch as the sun slowly slips beneath the horizon. The sky turning orange and then fading into a purple. Streaks of black cloud hover above the trees, moving slowly in a mysterious pattern. You wipe sweat from your forehead and watch as the first star appears in the east. You wonder if you're meant to stay here or if you should move on. You wonder where you're supposed to go. I see a bright light in the distance on top of a grassy hill, surrounded by trees. An ornate carriage pulled by two white horses bursts from the tree line and begins barreling down the road, scattering villagers as it goes. When the horses pull up in front of you, the carriage skids to a halt. When the horses pull up to you, the carriage skids to a halt. Two people wearing white robes with gold trim step out. One of them is crying. Your mother is dead, Max, they say. Think about how my name is Chilopo and shit my pants, realizing that this is the life or a vision of another person's life. You shake your head. You're not Max. The woman looks at you. Max, we're taking you to see her now. She lays a comforting hand on your shoulder. I go with the robe wearing cultists. "Come with us, Max," says the other man. "Your mother has a message for you." You get up and follow them. The moon is full. It's beautiful. The carriage enters a narrow valley. You look around. It's cold and the night is getting late. The snow gleams in the moonlight. You don't want to go much farther. There is a flash of light, and suddenly I am with Dumbledore again in the white void. "So that's who you are. The last thing in your memories that is the last thing your memory showed you. Your name was Max. Your parents were farmers. You were orphaned at the age of 10. And you are trapped. Trapped how?
Trapped how?
You ask. You can't leave the island without being killed," he says. "Your memories give you a name, a past, a home, but you will never be able to return." He touches the scar on your forehead. You shudder. So we went from a Midwest cowboy to someone traveling with a goblin, to getting help from a Yeti, to hiding from shadows, to suddenly being in a laboratory and being like 6 and shitting our pants and talking to a burly man calling him father. And now we're here. We're in Harry Potter's book 7, talking to Dumbledore. So I shudder. And let's see where it goes. But it's not the fault of the wound that you do not have the knowledge to heal it. But it's not the fault of the wound that you do not have the knowledge to heal it. Okay. What do I do, Dumbledore? I can't tell you, he answers. You must find the answers yourself. The rules are not always simple, but you will learn them in time. For now, you must learn to use the powers you have. And you have much to learn, Max. You nod. You turn and walk away, leaving him alone in the white void. Your childhood ends now. I died. You play until the sun begins to set. The sunlight sparkles on the rippling waves. As the tide rises, the people who live nearby take shelter in their homes, closing their shutters and doors, hoping for hungry monsters will not venture into the night. Then their waters can flow. What is this sentence? You know it, but you know the monsters will swim through the streets of the town in the darkest hour and feed upon the helpless souls who don't take precautions against them. You know it because you've seen it before. You were, I was eaten by monsters. You was eaten by monsters. Grounded. You look down and realize you're in the body of a piglet. Well, you think to yourself, I did not see that coming. You contemplate your new situation. Random Zords epic bake time. You yell, Random Zords epic bacon time. You open your mouth to call out, but no sound comes out. For a second, you aren't sure if you're awake or having a nightmare. Then you notice your shadow, faint and flickering, cast by the torches burning on the back of the dark stone chamber you are standing in. Carts and piles of what appear to be animal bones standing up around the room. To your left, you see a shadowy shape, its outline glistening with fresh blood. Excuse me, sir. Where is the bathroom? Or wait, no. Why does the narwhal eat bacon at midnight? Yeah, I struggles with this one. No response. Good.
He's rather sleepy, you see.
No response.
For sale, apples, apples, only a copper coin a bunch, says the gnome, carrying a sack filled with apples. Good quality, very fresh, buy some, he continues, ignoring your presence.
I squeal as I'm a piglet now. You let out a loud shriek. The sound echoes off the walls of the chamber. Damn this place, you think to yourself. It's giving me the creeps. I spray bile at the gnome to get its attention. You try to spray bile at the gnome, but only spew a small puddle of liquid on the floor. Whoa! The gnome says, jumping out of the way. I squeal inquisitively. How does the AI deal with this situation?
You squeal inquisitively. With a puff of greenish-white smoke, a small wizard appears right next to you.
Why so jittery, Piggy?
The wizard asks.
Wasn't expecting me? He rubs his hands together. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I just need something to keep my chill.
What the hell? I pull out some weed with my trotter. You reach into your pocket and pull out a small paper bag full of herbs. You offer it to the wizard.
What's this? A present for me?
The wizard says, snatching the bag from you.
Might be more than you can handle.
He takes a big sniff of the bag.
Ah, perfect, he says. Perfect.
He points his hands towards the gnome.
Eat, he commands. Eat.
The gnome bites into the bag, taking a huge mouthful of the herbs. Lovely, he says, chewing aloud.
How's it taste, Brixie?
The wizard asks. The gnome nods.
Gordon. Good.
The gnome looks at you with bulging eyes. Why are there so many bones, mage? The gnome queries as he's chewing on the bag.
If you don't like to see them, you shouldn't have asked,
the mage replies casually. What the hell is even happening anymore?
This is only the beginning.
He reaches into his cloak and pulls out a shiny object.
Ever want to know what you'd look like when you're old and gray?
He holds up the object to the gnome. Hold on, there's a fly. I watch as the gnome rapidly ages and screams. Who the fuck is this wizard? What genre is this? The wizard just... I'm thinking about this situation. The gnome screams in horror.
Old bones taste better.
The wizard smirks. More! The gnome cries as his skin shrivels up and the hair falls out of his head. Sugar. The gnome says, sugar, butter, more, more. The gnome swallows the last bit of the herbs and reaches for the empty bag.
Hang on, my friend, you don't want to eat that much at once.
The wizard holds out his hand to the gnome, and the gnome is lifted into the air by
excuse me, lift into the air by an invisible force. Maybe you should take a little of that for yourself. Okay, thanks, Kara. I won't. There is still some left. He swirls his hand in the air, and a second paper bag filled with herbs appears. I throw up at the foot of the wizard and oink. You wretch. The stale vomit drips down your clothes, sticking to your fur. It's disgusting. I would have taken all that from you anyway. Mitch groans. Why did he want the vomit? Alright. You're adorable, you know. Innocent in your own little way. It makes me want to kill you even more. He reaches into his robes and takes out a dagger. I turn and spray shit into his eyes. Okay, the mage says, backing away from you. Time to cut the crap, so to speak. Oh my god. So the AI now knows puns. Alright. He says, wiping the excrement from his eyes. You turn around and snort in his general direction. What will I tell you? What did I tell you about trying to attack me, Pigsy? It would not work. He smiles. Let me show you something. He claps his hands together and a small star appears between them. I eat the star. You try and eat the star, but you can't get a grip on you need with your flat teeth. Damn! The wizard mutters, swatting at you. Quit playing around! Did you really think you could scare me? He's practically crying now. His voice wavers as he talks. Pee on his foot. I'm a pig, I can't do much. You piss on his shoe, and it hisses and steams when it hits his foot. That was a cheap trick, he gasps, trying to brush the piss off of his boots. But if you think this was bad, then just wait until I use this. What you got, old man? The star in his hand begins to shine brighter. Observe. A jet of red flame bursts from the star. Tell me how that would have affected you, the wizard challenges. I oink and bite the wizard's ankle. I oink casually and bite the wizard's ankle. I have cast a spell that will kill your character if you attempt to exit this area, so stay in your hovel, little piggy. So, how are you going to take me out then? If I'm supposed... Who's saying that? Who's saying that? So how are you going to take me out then if I'm supposedly stuck here forever? Is he talking to the gnome? The gnome said that while blubbering in the corner. The gnome screams at the wizard and then collapses. The mage scratches his head. He looks at the bones scattered around the chamber and glances at you.
Ah, time for some body parts.
I gnaw through his ankle and eat his foot. You gnaw at his foot.
Get off, you stupid beast.
He kicks you, sending you tumbling backwards. I get up and start gnawing some more. You bite harder and he keeps kicking you.
I can't believe it.
The wizard laughs, stepping back.
I've beaten an animal. I'm winning. I'm winning.
The wizard bounces up and down at the spot, clapping his hands together.
My hero. My master.
You get to your feet and start chasing after him. I squeal angrily.
Oh, what's wrong now? Have you lost your will to live? Ha ha!
The wizard dances around the cave, taunting you. I spray more shit in his eyes and tackle him. He daubed his face with more bile. He's dizzy and disoriented, but still upright. I bite his face. You bite his face again and again. He screams. A great crash reverberates through the cave. The man falls to the ground. You leap on top of him and start gnawing away. He screams. A loud pop explodes from the wizard, sending a wave of blistering pain through your face. I throw up in his mouth. You heave a great ball of vomit into the man's mouth and he starts choking.
You monster! Do you know what that does to the human body?
He flails at you, scratching your fur and skin, tearing your flesh with his fingernails. I'm fighting a crazy old wizard as a pig. I cast my curse magicka spell on his upon his brow. You cast your curse magic upon his brow. You cast your curse upon the man, causing his skin to ripple and stretch. You feel blood trickling down your arm as your curse cuts away at his body. The pain is blinding, but you manage to keep biting him. I get bored and I bite the collar, the shirt collar, I should say, because the AI would mix it up, of the gnome and leave. You chew the shirt collar of the gnome and gently shoving it to the side before gently and tentatively placing your back hoof on the ground. What's happening? I don't like where this is going. I drag the gnome out of the mad wizard's dungeon. You pull it by the ankles. The walls are stone, but you can make out where the sunlight comes in from the outside. The gnome and I make it outside. You carry the gnome over your shoulders like a sack of potatoes. The gnome is surprisingly heavy. You hope it's not because he ate an entire sack of dry herbs. That explained the weight. Okay. You set him down in the grass and he coughs up some bile. You saved me, he says through sobs. Thank you. There's a flash of white, and I am back in the collapsing lab with my dad.
Do you understand now, my son? Your father asks. Do you realize how powerful you are? You have the power to hurt others like this, but you can use that power to help too.
Just a little dream in the AI story.
I believe in you, my son. I trust you can do the right thing in the end.
Your father nods and pats your arm.
Dada, how will we get out of here?
I don't know, Cappy. No. Since when are we Asian? Your father replies. He sighs. We're trapped. The only way out is to open the gates and walk on the street. We do that, and the story ends. The end. As you close the book, you're sitting there for a moment staring at the cover. It's an illustration of a small boy walking down a dirt road with a rabbit plush in his hand. A tear drops onto the page. Alright. Good story. Alright. So. Chalopo's Delusions. There. Alright. So, let's make another new story. Let's do the storyteller prompt now. Okay. Mr. Wigglesworth's big land. What does it want me to do? How can you tell them apart? Practice, you get used to it. I'll take your word for it. I still can't see how you tell them apart. I have no idea what the plan is in this. Okay, let's start again. What's the plan? We're getting you out. How? Don't know. We need an edge. How do we get one? Not sure. Think. Don't think. I need to think. Need an edge. We're trying. Think. Can't think. Too tired. We can't think. Too tired. Think. Edge. Get one. What about? Yes, yes. That's it. That's it. Yes, yes. Now what? Wait. We're ready. Good. It's time. Let's go. Yes. Let's go. Now. The world shifted suddenly, and I was once again aware of my body. My skin tingled and buzzed, like when your foot goes to sleep and then wakes up, but the feeling was everywhere. My brain was still foggy, as if I was trying to wake from a dream. She's coming around. I heard a voice, a male voice, familiar. Is it really her? The voice was familiar too. We'll see. How's he doing? The first voice said. Same. Good. We should move them soon. I know. I was awake, but my eyes wouldn't open. I couldn't make them open. They were heavy, weighed down by lead weights or sandbags, like those bags of sand they have at the gym. I'm going to call the others. We should be ready. Okay, get the car. There was a click. Come in, said the familiar voice. Footsteps. Are you ready? Yes. Is he okay? Yeah, just unconscious. Okay, let's do this. The voice was right above me, speaking quietly. This should work, if she's awake, but if it doesn't, we have a backup plan. You're still with me, right? I tried to nod. Okay. So, what's happening? Here goes. There was a flash of heat, a sudden warmth that started on my chest and spread over me. I was floating, rising like a hot air balloon, and my eyelids fluttered and finally opened. I was beaming light around the room. Holy shit, someone said. She's back. She's back, a female voice said. I turned off the light and looked around the room. Tobias, I said. Okay, what's happening? We've got him too. We should move him before. Already on it. We have to move her before. Working on it. I'm here. Hey. I turned my head and looked up. Welcome back. Hey you. He leaned in and kissed me. I love you. Okay. What's happening? What is Mr. Wigglesworth's big plan? Send. I asked. We're going to get you out of here. There's a car waiting. And then what? We'll take a road trip. Sounds like a good idea. No, it does not. Alright. Let's make a new story. I am Jack Black, and I am hunting for a new movie gig. Let's see. I'm not talking about the kind of gig that gives you the gas. Although in this town, if you're more likely to find that on the casting couch. The part I'm looking for is a leading man role. It's not easy finding good work for a short guy with a big nose and a goofy grin, especially in the town that's full of tall, handsome, pretty boys. My last gig was the big break I've been waiting for. It was my first shot at the starring role, and it was the motion picture. It was based on a children's book. But who am I to complain? It's called School's Out. It's a horror action comedy about a high school where a bunch of kids team up with a bunch of aliens to defeat an evil machine men led by a mad scientist. It was written by the guy who wrote the Matrix movies. But I wasn't the star of the show. I wasn't even a student. Instead, I was the villain. The head machine man named Billy. He was an alien from outer space who'd taken the shape of a human kid so he could destroy Earth. I don't look anything like Billy. He was tall, skinny, and bald with a creepy face. And I'm short and stocky, with a face that looks like it was hit with a frying pan. Jesus Christ, be nice to my friend Jack. Alright. But I did get to wear a really cool suit that made me look like a giant robot. And I got to do some sweet moves, like the jump out of the back of a school bus and throw a kid's head at him. Alright. The best part of the movie was the song I got to sing. What was the song he got to sing? It's a little ditty called We're Going to Miss You. It's about Billy and his buddies saying goodbye to the kids after they blow up the school. I've always loved singing. I grew up in a little town in Oregon where my parents owned a restaurant. We had a little karaoke machine there. I'd always sing on it. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. I could hold a tune, and I could be pretty funny when I wanted to be. My family used to think it was cute when I would sing along with the radio in the car. They were just being nice. Alright. Fun little story of Jack Black. Let's make a new story. Let's see. Writer's Daemon. Let's use that config. I'm smashing a hole in my wall to open up my living room a little more. When the apartment begins shaking, only it doesn't. I keep hammering into the crumbling stucco. Nothing out of the ordinary is happening, and no one else would have ever known. Would ever know about the quake. Only I am shaking inside, which creates the tremors in the fabric of my environment, sending seismic ripples that can't be felt or recorded in any way, but still break off chunks from my wall, dust flying up in my face. Come on, send it. Alright, send it again. That the hand I used to wave the dust away is stained red in no way influences me or this situation. The color bleeds quickly into my vision as the scene takes shape. I know this place well enough that no memory could supplant its significance in a lifetime of crime and death and reincarnation. The Plaza Hotel has been my residence and burial grounds many times since my early life as the killer of my own kind who fled to New York under the auspices of the Brotherhood a society I sought acceptance into with the fervor of the converted. Alright. Despite my gift for the gift of life through vampirism, I'm also a hunter who should have settled into the ranks of Baphomet Brotherhood like an old gunfighter dropping into the crane seat at a local saloon after a day spent taming some unruly territory. But it was not to be, and those thoughts that drove me into Ireland after years of vigilantism here turned out not to matter. The Brotherhood is an equal opportunity employer when it comes to who lives and who dies. There's a code among vampires to bring no mortals trouble to the immortals. Only if the vampire is betrayed or wronged or sees the greater good of a vampire wrought war upon the humans will our people suffer to an act so criminal as to warrant the full weight and wrath of the order falling upon them. No punishment, though, just a strong suggestion of brotherly fellowship and camaraderie that somehow usually results in a complete bloodless obliteration. But I had a feeling that there was something deeper than that. And what was that? An edict of some sort, an old law, an ancient imperative, not yet uncovered, so they kept killing me. Here in my home, away from home, or is that back, there is Central Park, across the plaza, where last time I was there, my sister, Esther, was imprisoned by our shared creator, Boris Romanov. Boris Romanov. There are two cops going to their deaths. It happens fast. The streets coming alive with movement and sound. A street musician sitting by the trash can fire and bushel basket abruptly abandons the instrument in his hands. I don't care anymore. It's hurting my head. Alright. Well, I've explored quite a bit of AI today. About 2 hours worth. That sounds good enough for me. I'm actually going to wrap up. Let's see. Let's make a new story. Let's see. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Videos. I'll see you in the next one. The end. Author's note. Just wanted to make it clear that the story was inspired by the works of the opposing defense. No. Let's redo that. Subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Woman screams in the background. Oh, what was that? Oh, no. Dramatic music plays. What was that? Well, wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? Thank you guys very much for watching. Thanks for watching. I am getting stuck in an AI loop in my actual brain because my brain feels like mush. I hope you guys had fun and have a good rest of your day.